Good evening, Dandadan fans. We got our Christmas colors out today. Chapter 191, the last of this volume for Dandadan. I think 23? 23? Is that right?
Second week, all caught up. Gotta love it.
We're not that delayed this time. Thankfully, my stomach is much better than it was last time. This time last week. No. Some technical difficulties, but if you can see me and hear me, just let us know in the chat. We'd appreciate it.
I keep pausing. Should be good. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Oh well.
Okay. But yeah, we're here. Second week. Finally caught up. We got the dub. Kenta, Ken,
They
the
got
duo,
it.
dynamic duo.
They got it.
Hase is down. That jerk, he's down.
He is a jerk.
That's funny.
He is competent. He is much more competent with that power than I ever thought he would be. Given that he just got this power like yesterday, seemingly. What's up, Sherm?
Nope. I guess we're done with that. Well, I don't know. I guess we gotta deal with the chick.
Yep.
The Jetto, I think that's her name. Or
Jito.
yeah. So we gotta deal with her. I don't know. I guess we're gonna. I don't know if she's gonna retreat now, or then we're gonna switch over to Momo and the other side of the gang, or what. Not sure, but pretty cool.
She did say that the suit was very difficult to use, so the instructions unclear, something caught in ceiling fan meme that has been going around the internet. But the symbols on the little predator forearm HUD that she was working with, I don't think she was too familiar with said symbols. And that was different than the symbols that Vamola had on her planet. Sanjome, this woman, the Sumerians, us, obviously. There's a lot of humanoid-esque species in this world, which all have their own unique languages, cultures, what have you. So I'm really curious how that suit was made. Was it a inorganic creation? So is this something that Sanjome had created by a manufacturer? Or alternatively, was this a Big Mama creation that just ended up having a different language of, let's just say you input a Sumerian, it comes out with Sumerian text for the suit. Don't know.
Right. Man, every time every day I'm thinking about Dandadan, the theories and stuff. I don't know. I really think we're close to something truly crazy.
It has the potential. I know we keep saying it. I think it's also because we're nearing like one of those special chapter marks. Like 200 is pretty special. If you can make it 200 in Shonen Jump. No, but also the story is leading us in that direction. I agree.
Yeah. Because like it's in an interesting part of the story where it's like we haven't officially dealt with Count Saint Germain really at all. None of the characters like they don't even know. They're not really sus of him. Nothing's going on right now.
You don't even know he's an out.
Exactly. So there's that, and then the Seiko chapter. We got introduced to 2 new characters with her, and I don't know. I guess we're probably going to meet I just feel we're going to meet more characters and learn a bit more lore very soon. Given that literally in the past 10 chapters we've met 10 to 15 chapters, we met maybe like 5 new characters. One being Jet, obviously Koki. She was introduced not too long ago. And those two at the restaurant. And well, not really Hase, he got reintroduced, but officially like a slightly important side character now.
Well, it makes me think what other students could possibly have powers or have been given the same mission that Hase got. Because obviously Koki was being manipulated by Murakami. Kamimura? Murakami.
Whatever he is.
Murakami. Gym teacher. But we had the gym teacher. We had Miss Adachi, the other female teacher who got out unscathed. And then we had Koki, who was given those same, power-sucking knives. And then also we have Hase. So that's 4 people in the immediate vicinity that have recently come to the forefront of the story that are trying to steal Momo and Okarun's powers. And as much as Sanjome knows, apparently he does not know that Okarun does not have the powers anymore. Or potentially, Okarun could have a new special power now.
And that moment too is one of those moments in like any kind of story, specifically shonen, where it's like some kind of foreshadowing in that conversation alone for a lot of different reasons. One, going back to the whole bacteria discussion within that conversation, and then obviously with him not being able to extract his power. So my theory is that Turbo Granny exchanged the good luck karma to him, and then she got back her OG power. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or maybe he just has his own power somehow, some way that's not even the same as either of those two.
I would like that if Okarun did have the good luck power. Let's just call it. He is quite spontaneous with a lot of his decisions, and him taking ideas from Momo in terms of how she systematically and purposely makes her decisions in combat will help him with that spontaneity while also being more grounded. So he's going to have the best of both worlds. He's going to have plans in advance, and then he's going to be able to, on the fly, no, that's not a pun with Koki, be able to come up with these impromptu plans. So I'm looking forward to Okarun's development. This little mini arc, or this section of the arc, he's been utilizing nanotech. I could see him in a suit similar to Jet, to where he has similar powers as Turbo Granny. Maybe doesn't run as fast, maybe doesn't kick as hard, with the momentum, but he could have a suit. I could see Okarun in a suit, and I wouldn't be upset about it, because he's had those spiritual powers of running, kicking, fighting previously with spirits. So who's to say you can't get him a special alien suit?
Looking at the stream, I see it pausing. I heard you though. What's going on?
Is it still like an issue to where... Am I buffering for you guys? Anyone in the chat? Can you let us know? Or is it just Vontae can't quite hear me too well? Because I don't know of any other way to make the... I don't know of any way to fix that.
Are you able to hear me, or am I buffering audio too?
For the most part, I can hear you just fine. The visual quality is dropping a bit, but... Yeah, I see that.
I don't know. It's weird.
Can you go to the settings on your
then? If you're able to hear me,
yeah.
Visual stuff.
I was gonna say maybe take a look at some of the settings.
Honestly, it's not gonna be nothing. Nah, it's not gonna. especially since I'm on the app, it doesn't have too many capabilities. And since I'm not hosting it.
Maybe next time when I invite you, you can try joining from the desk or the browser of your phone to see if that works. Maybe it's like an issue with the app itself. I mean, you're fixed now. I don't know if you did anything or...
I didn't do anything. This is doing it already.
Alrighty then.
Funny thing is, though, the browser is what does this. So that's weird.
Oh, so it's not the app that causes you the issues? Yeah, I need to switch
it's the browser, and the app is more efficient. I'm not sure.
I promise, guys, in the next...
I could
5 weeks, I will switch over to OBS. I'm giving myself to the end of May to switch over. Hopefully that will alleviate a lot of these issues. My internet's not the greatest, but I do think it is the platform's issue and not necessarily...
I guess I'm going to try the browser this time.
Either one of ours. All right. So hello. This is the little artwork that I did for, you know, all of our thumbnails, the background reading, what have you. But while Vante is reconnecting, do a quick little recap of last chapter. I know we were just talking about it a little bit, but specifically, there was a technique used that I predicted. So I'm gonna, so what's the phrase? Beat my own drum. I'm going to say I called it because they restricted Hase's movement by merging the nanotech specifically with his body to make shackles, and then they did this super power bomb from way up high, and that knocked him out of the spirit form, which is pretty cool. I will also mention there was a topic of conversation that I saw online. I don't know if you guys also saw it or not, regarding the previous interaction between Hase and Okarun in the classroom. And some people were speculating that the spiritual transformation brings out the true essence or the hidden feelings of a person. And that was representative each time that Okarun in his Turbo Granny form was saying, I'm depressed, oh, woe is me, type of, you know, down in the dumps. And because of that, what ended up happening was they speculated that he might have actually Control-Alt-Deleted himself if he didn't have Momo's intervention that one time. I don't know if we'll ever go back to that. Again, I was not expecting the previous, let's just call it development, between Hase and Okarun to be expanded upon. I thought it was just, he was throwing magnets in paper at Okarun, but no, he was bullying Okarun on multiple occasions. So, unfortunately, it could have led to an unfortunate situation. Thankfully, it didn't. But that was definitely an interesting thought experiment that person on Twitter was going through. And then after the stream, I did promise both Sherm and Vante that I would look into the symbolism of the figure on page 11 of chapter 90, Baphomet, and hella interesting. So had to do with the Christianity, had to do with it was falsely attributed to the Knights of the Templar, and many different various, let's just call it, how should I put this? Falsely attributed to the Knights of the Templar for that particular motif, and then they were also kind of hung out to dry by the church itself. I cannot hear you. The mic itself is muted?
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
So what are you talking about, church?
Oh, I was talking about the homework that I did after last stream, Baphomet, and how that symbol was falsely attributed to the Knights of the Templar. They were falsely accused of paganism by the church. I think it was mainly just a way of controlling people, for lack of a better term. Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Everything should be good now. I don't know why. Guess it was too much to have the Bluetooth and the mic at the same time.
Oh, it wasn't working?
It was conflicted. I guess that's why it was like dropping a lot. It seems smooth now.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, either way, I will still stick to the commitment of in the next 5 weeks, I will switch over to OBS as my official streaming platform. I just got to learn a whole new system. Not to say I'm not excited, because I think it will fix a lot of the issues, but there's some various techniques, let's just call them, that I'll have to learn between now and then.
Yo,
Yeah, it is not liking your camera. It is not liking that camera.
Okay, well. I don't know what to do. Like, I literally see it frozen.
Let me do this.
Mad delay. Oh yeah, I don't know. I guess GG's. I don't know what's going on.
GG's for GG.
Well, looks like you guys have to just imagine me this stream.
It will be fixed. I'll maybe try to do a test stream this upcoming Saturday on my own channel. I'll finally read the end of Land of the Lustrous, so that'll be a fun little test stream. I just don't know how to get multiple people in there, because technically speaking, I want to say that I would need to do either a Discord call or like a Google Meet call, and then link that browser's or that tab of a browser's audio into OBS. I'll talk to Townsy about it, but yeah, it should be manageable, I'm hoping. Vante the Pygmy, oh no! I mean, accurate, but oh no! Moo!
You know, I'm just using nanotech right now. I'm just Gojo Midoriya.
Oh, Gojo Midoriya. Go Midoriya.
Also believe you are first this week.
I am. So I hope I don't have any issues while I'm reacting. Otherwise, Sherm, you're our only lifeboat. But what we're gonna do, Vante's gonna get out of here for a sec. I'm going to react to the chapter first. Once I get done, have a quick discussion with anyone that wants to in the chat. I will bring him back in. You will get at least his reading of the chapter, and then we'll go from there. But let's get into chapter 191, The Mistake. Alright, so is this a Dachi or someone else? There's a caterpillar head on her bag. Chapter 191, The Mistake. Obtained a power. Pick up in 30 minutes. Embankment under overpass. Okay, so this is a Dachi. Likely going to meet Sanjome or whoever is the point person for this. Probably an intermediary, so that way there is plausible deniability by Sanjome. And this person doesn't even look like a person, might not even be a person. Might be an alien, might be a empty suit, a la Tony Stark. Oh, this guy looks gross. All right, puts the hand out. Hello? You've been working hard, Miss Mika Adachi. I've obtained a power and have it with me. So now what do I do? Unfortunately, Takashi Murakami, the person you attacked, is one of you. Huh? What do you mean? I mean that he too was collecting powers, just like you. But it can't be. Unfortunate. It's curious though, the targets are specified by me, and I never indicated Murakami as a target. So why did you go after him? She's not going to take the fall for this. This is exactly what's going to happen, unfortunately. Man. It was because I could see there was something different about him, and I thought he had powers. Next time I won't act on my own like that, so this time you did nothing. The Lord of the Flies powered person defeated Murakami, and all you did was pick up the leftovers, and by mistake. You are disqualified. Please hand over your Kozuka knife to the man in front of you. How did Sanjome know that? We will also require you give back the power you were given. Hold on, please. I swear I'll do it right next time. So, it's beyond you. In order to take away a person's abilities, it is necessary to make them surrender from the bottom of their heart. But there is nothing stronger or more difficult to understand than the human heart. A person with marvelous power would have an ID cosmos which does not fear even death. I want to read that again. A person with marvelous power would have an id cosmos or an ID cosmos. So id, talk about psychology here. Id, the ego, the superego. I don't know. And then it shows Momo going towards the alien that had the dimension cutting abilities. In order to defeat such a person, it is necessary to thoroughly attack the people around them, such as their relatives and friends. You are kind-hearted, so you could never be so cruel, now could you? I don't know about that. Sanjome, have you ever heard of the phrase, beware the rage of a gentleman? One of my favorite phrases of all time. And the lengths at which people will go to for their loved ones, do not underestimate that. Now, he's talking a big talk with this, and in most cases, yes, he is surely true. I would say probably 9 out of 10 people. That's her mom. If she is truly taking care of her mom, there is nothing that she wouldn't do. Wait, I can do it. I will do it. Please, please let me. I need to help my mother. So, gets hit with the briefcase, nosebleed. Accept your defeat. Accept your defeat. Stop. Accept your defeat. Mom. All Alright, so that at least was true. Alright. That man gets kicked. Have come across an incident resulting in injury. Whoa! Here's the boy! Seeking immediate assistance. Location is the embankment under the overpass. Ugh, what in the Grand Fisher? Get out of here. Oh, the card. You. I remember you. This officer. The fairy tale card won't work against him. I couldn't have drawn a worse losing lottery ticket. Alright, but it's gonna affect her. She gets hypnotized, goes after the officer. He does a shoulder throw. She's been detained. He looks up. That man is assumedly gone. Yep. Alright. Switching scenes and end scene. Manjiro, I'm entrusting things here to you. Understood. Please be careful, master. Please take a painkiller every 6 hours. It will dull your senses. You've got broken ribs. I know. Okay, she did have a, permanent in quotation marks, resulting injury from that fight. And I like that. Shows stakes. Shows consequences to losing or at least getting injured in that fight. Vamola. Hey, Vamola. Can't you hear me? Momo, what's the matter? Gigi. Vamola hasn't been responsive for a while now. It's almost as if she can't see me. It could be that the curse is progressing. At this rate, I could end up like the pygmies, with no one able to see me anymore. Alright, they're dragging Hase. Aira hugs Okarun. Kinta saying, I'm the one that did it. You should be hugging me. I also hate that perspective of Momo looking at Vamola. It's almost like Vamola isn't human there. I know she's from another planet. It's not my point. My point is, she's almost detached from the Vamola that we know, or that she might be under the influence of something. Could I see Vamola being under the influence of the fairy tale card? Yes. Long story short, I didn't leave you enough time to even think about that. Okay, so Sherm, he did say id, ego, superego. Let me pull up the id, the most primitive, unconscious part of the personality. All right, the seat of our basic instincts, desires, and impulses. You know, for Sanjome to say that just shows how disconnected he is from humanity. And I love that, but again, I will reiterate, he is so underestimating the lengths at which a child will do something for their parent. Severely, I must say. And I also think that the end of the chapter is a potential foreshadowing at a necessary confession from Gigi to Momo. Because of the relationships that Momo has to this friend group, Vamola's is one of the weaker ones. Now, that's not to disrespect their relationship, but it is to say that it is a relatively newer relationship. And with any newer relationship, what that is going to mean is that with this progressing of the curse that we see from Zuma and we see from Daiki, it would make sense that Momo's curse is also progressing. So Gigi might be the saving grace here, and this might actually show, like, what if Okaru forgets who Momo is, God forbid? Does that mean that Gigi, if he's the last one to remember Momo, would have the strongest relationship? Or that he would be her best suited partner? because he's the last one, potentially, that could remember her. Oh, Sherm. I mean, I was literally thinking that while I was making that statement, but I could see Tatsu hurting us like that. And then Momo being like, what? Gigi, weren't you gonna finish your confession? They are going to the Shrine of Marriage. That I thought I saw from Laz's stream. So yeah. But, with that being said, let me get Vante back in here. Yeah, and I don't know how to fix his visuals. I suppose I can turn off my camera to see if that helps, but I think it's something with the connecting of a guest on camera to the stream itself through StreamYard, which is disappointing because my internet isn't the greatest to begin with. This is also the last chapter of the volume. I think I already said that, but I think we left this volume off at a pretty good spot. Welcome back.
Well, let's see how it does. I don't know.
I said I'll turn off my camera, see if that helps you. I don't know if that will do anything, but yeah, enjoy the chapter.
If it starts tripping, you're free to take me off if it starts, going crazy or something. All right. Don't worry, I see that. All right, 191. Okay, so we are over here with Momo and the mistake. Okay, chapter title: obtain the power pickup in 30 minutes. Embankment under overpass. Tripping? It's that area in Bleach. Okay, someone is silhouette, black face. Not he's not doing black face. He just has shut. Anyway, okay.
I need to take over already, huh?
No caller ID. Hello. Working hard, Miss. Oh, that's okay. That is Adachi. I thought I was tripping. First, I thought it was Momo. Then I was like, no, it doesn't make sense. And then I thought it was Adachi. But I just say nothing because I thought I was going to be looking stupid. Anyway, you've been working hard, Miss Mika Adachi. I've obtained the power and have it with me. So now what do I do? Unfortunately, Takeshi Murakami, the person you attacked, is one of you. Huh? What do you mean? I mean that he too was collecting powers just like you. But it can't be unfortunate. It's curious though. The targets are specified by me, and I never indicated Murakami as a target. So why did you go after him? It was because I could see there was something different about him, and I thought he had powers. Next time I won't act on my own like that. So this time you did nothing. The Lord of the Flies powered person defeated Murakami. And all you did was pick up the leftovers. And by mistake, you are disqualified. Please hand over your Kazuka knife to the man in front of you. Okay, let's go to the link. What the fuck do they got going on, man? We will also require you to give back the power you were given. Hold on, please. I swear I'll do it next time. Do it right next time. So, it's beyond you. In order to take away a person's abilities, it is necessary to make them surrender from the bottom of their heart. But there is nothing stronger or more difficult to understand than the human heart. A person with marvelous power would have an ID cosmos, which does not fear even death. Id Cosmos. In order to defeat such a person, it is necessary to thoroughly attack the person around them, such as their relatives and friends. You are kind-hearted, so you can never be so cruel. Now, could you? Wait, I can do it. I will do it. Please, please let me. I need to help my mother. Damn, punched the shit out of her. Accept your defeat. Oh my god, what the briefcase is crazy. Accept your defeat. Yeah, stop. Accept your defeat. Yeah, mom. Okay, kick. Boom. Have come across an incident resulting in injury. Oh, hey, officer, let's go. Seeking immediate assistance. Location is the embankment under the overpass. Hell yeah. What the hell is he doing? Oh my god. Fairy tale card? Really? You. I remember you. This officer. The fairy tale card won't work against him. Huh. I couldn't have drawn a worse losing lottery ticket. Okay. On his back. Getting away. Oh no, what the fuck? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. And he's going. Wow. I'm really loving the shots in this chapter so far. The art, especially on this page, obviously on these two pages, 16, 17. Manjiro, I'm entrusting things here to you. Understood. Please be careful, master. He about to die. We've been saying this for a long time. Manjiro's gonna die. Please take a painkiller every 6 hours. It will dull your senses. You've got broken ribs. I know. Vamola. Hey, Vamola. Can't you hear me? Momo, what's the matter? Gigi, Vamola hasn't been responsive for a while. It's almost as if she can't see me. It could be that the curse is progressing. At this rate, I could end up like the pygmies, with no one able to see me anymore. Okay. As they're dragging his body. Fucking Hase. The other crew. Okay. End of the chapter, huh? Not Chad's favorite location to relax in, for real.
I am going to keep my camera off, just to see if that helps your side. But a few things in this chapter. Plausible deniability. Sanjome has an obvious way to never be caught because he is using a puppet to interact directly with Misadachi, probably Murakami, so on and so forth. And he's got such a great network set up to where I would be hard pressed to think anything other than he has been planning this for centuries. This isn't something you randomly stumble into without any second thought. Sanjome has been plotting something for a long time.
And because of that, whatever we do to defeat him, whenever that happens, if that happens, whatever, it has to be something extravagant, because don't be looking like no bum planning all this stuff for all these years to just get like one trick ponied or something. Or
I don't think that Tatsu would. Again, I've been hurt by other mangaka before, but with the way that he's setting things up, I would be, again, hard-pressed to believe that he's going to fumble the bag with Sanjome. I just don't see it.
Also, once again, hey, the Bleach is really strong in this manga too, for real.
Hey, that Grand Fisher pose?
Antagonist, and then, and then this overpass right here.
And then my next point that I wanted to talk about with you, go back to page 8 for a second.
ID Cosmos. What the hell?
At first, I thought it was ID, but then my second thought is, what if it was referring to the id from psychology?
Learn me.
So the id definition online, it's the most primitive, unconscious part of the personality. Basic instincts, desires, and impulses. Operates on the pleasure principle, seeking immediate gratification. Present at birth, driven by instincts like hunger, thirst, and need for comfort. So, I've got a few things to say on that, but any immediate thoughts that come to mind?
So instinctually not having fear, like just not having any fear at him. I feel like this could be a reach. Well, no, it's not. I was gonna say like the conversation that Sanjome had with Okudon in the hallway, like when he tried to get him to yield to take his power, and Okudon was like, he just kind of, obviously he didn't know what the fuck was going on, but he just like instinctually just obliged and like answered him. I wonder if that's like a little, I don't know, like foreshadowing as to how that might look in the future with this new thing about like instinctually just not having any fear in the moment, I guess.
If anything, I think the next time that Okurun is in a similar situation, even if he is indeed unpowered, I feel like he's not going to yield to Sanjome. I feel like he has a bit more bravado about him now. He has a bit more confidence. Or especially after he learns that Sanjome is doing all of this to hurt Momo and him and those around him. I feel like Okurun's going to say, no, I'm not going to stand up to that. But an id cosmos. So this is on a cosmic level? The individual? So I know we were talking about like some really crazy stuff as it relates to the bacteria. Like void bacteria, spiritual bacteria.
So basically by defeating them or countering those people, you have to obviously pull on their heartstrings when it comes to their relatives or lovers. Oh yeah, shit's gonna get really nasty in this manga. It's gonna be bad. Like this pretty much just confirmed it that yeah, it's gonna be some very sad shit that's gonna end up happening.
And then my next thought on that, I didn't share this during my reaction. I was kind of holding off until you got back. But all of the symbolism of 3 that we previously discussed. So could this be the 3 sides of the triangle? The id, the ego, the superego? So we have instincts, reality, and morality. I would say maybe a yokai is morality. Id would be represented by Sanjome, and then potentially Ludris could be reality based on the nanotech technology that he shared with us.
You know, like this chapter just got me back in that mode where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is like, where are we going? like we're just like the characters in the manga right now. We don't know what's going on, and I think that's why I keep saying I feel like something big is going to happen, because I feel like the characters in the manga need to. It's like both us, the reader, and them are also playing catch up and trying to learn, and they don't know anything. We don't know anything. So I'm just waiting for that one chapter where it's like, oh wow, they get like just huge revelations. Because what's the biggest revelation that our cast of characters, like these kids, have gotten so far? Or what would you say, arguably, revelation?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah, like honestly, I mean,
depending on how you want to,
in the backstory.
Yeah, depending on how you want to frame it, I would say probably Vamola's people and what happened with that.
That's
tough.
Sanjome, They don't know nothing about Dandadan. They don't know nothing about that conversation in general. Obviously, they know the fairy tale card, but like, they don't know nothing.
Do you think Dodoria finally unseals her lips if something happens in the other city? Or do you think she remains firm and silent?
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I trust her, but Doria, you gotta start talking. I think it's about time. Like, it's just when we get stuff like this, when we learn about the, talking about id cosmos and shit like that. Like, when we learn these types of things, information that our cast doesn't even know, that is terrifying. And it's like, we have nobody that can, well, besides the Doria, we assume, that can really coach and guide us right now. Turbo Granny's not here. I'm sure obviously she'll pop back up, but I don't think anytime soon. Just like you said in another stream, she's gonna have like the Andy situation, or we might not see her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about Vamola not being able to hear?
Oh, I had a whole section on that.
Is it just because she's not as connected to her like Gigi is, maybe, or like through?
I think you're in the right ballpark.
Chi or energy?
And what absolutely terrifies me about that is this will, or it could, I will say, create a pecking order of who is the closest to Momo. And then the question becomes, is it Gigi or is it Okarun?
Yep, I see where you're going with that. Yep.
And as the conflict is playing out in that other city underneath the supermoon, is Gigi going to be the only one that remembers why they're there in the first place?
Yes.
And I said he would probably give her a confession. And then Sherm chimed in. He's like, what if Gigi loses the sight of Momo mid-confession? I could see it.
Tatsu, what are you doing? Stop. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. With this series, this is going to sound like what I'm saying is bad. Is not bad at all. This is like a purposefully non-progressive story. What I mean by that is, once again, with our cast of characters, they are so much like, they're not in the know of so many things that it's interesting how the story can keep on progressing without them being up to speed with stuff. I don't think I've seen that from another story. Like, AOT had a lot of mystery, but characters were up to speed as new revelations kept coming and coming and coming. In this series, it's like they don't know anything. They don't know nothing. It's so surface level. So it's
I felt that way for a long time in Undead Unluck. And then when we finally got the answers via Juiz, that's when some of the pieces started to come together. But for this, I agree with you.
Pretty cool, man.
The story is progressing at an alarming rate. And these characters are in the blind. They don't know. They don't even know who they're fighting. Exactly. So it's the classic Attack on Titan. Who's the enemy? I don't know. And that's the worst problem to have when you're in a fight, is you not knowing you're in a fight. Because you're not, actively trying to win or enact your ideals. So this is a problem.
I've never seen this before. It's like, and this is not a One Piece reference. Trust me, it's not. But it's like when, in a lot of stuff, like whether it's like a movie or a fight, or when they say like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, or Gear 1, Gear 2. Once again, not a One Piece reference. Like, it feels like we're in our characters, their mentality is still in the first gear. Like, the things that they're fighting against and facing is pretty much the same thing that they have been since the beginning. Obviously, stronger and stronger and stronger, but that's all they're doing. It's like Monster of the Week. They're defeating whatever's coming in. There's, aliens coming, yokai, invasions, whatever. But it's like, we have no time to really breathe and learn. Like, yes, we had training arcs twice, but for them to learn, they like, Dodoria, help us, tell us something, please. Ludris. Someone. Peeny Weenie. Someone. That is terrifying.
My next thought when I started to realize that Vamola is forgetting Momo is Jet ran away. So if Jet comes to take Momo and Vamola can't even see her to protect her, she literally cannot. And then it's Gigi versus Jet. And I know I've said this before. Gigi, objectionally, is a handsome man. And is Jet going to see any of her former lover in Gigi? Is she going to have that moment to where she falls in love with Gigi? I know shipping is a very controversial topic to have with a lot of these series, and I get it. A lot of the shippers in this community have shipped Gigi and Ira. But what if actually if it's Jet and Gigi? He's very much like a prince.
Nah. I think I don't know how old she is, but nah.
She's at least hundreds of years old.
Yeah, like Vamola's different. She's actually like, her age, I think. Right?
There's no confirmation. It's assumed that really she's our age.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really cool to see the characters not in the know to this extent. It's like, and it's not even frustrating. It's just terrifying right now. It's like, they don't know nothing, man.
I like it, but I just wish I knew more as the viewer. Obviously, we know Sanjome is plotting something in the background. But the problem is we don't know what for, we don't know who he's working with, we don't know the extensive network that he has. All we see are these isolated incidents in which he hurts the people close to us tremendously.
Yo, Gigi's dead. Real chapter.
Could you see him die? Could you see him dying?
The reason why is because they keep talking. Well, when Sanjome was talking to Adachi, when he was talking allegedly Sanjome about the whole taking relatives out or people that they love around
the
them out.
Cosmos.
Yeah, and like obviously Ken is not. That's not happening to him. Unless it's
that would be Okarune's first male friend.
Yep.
Golly, that hurts.
That's.
Before you said that, I was thinking, like, what if Momo is truly forgotten by everyone besides Seiko and or Okarune? And then she is truly alone. Okarune is just this weird kid that talks to his pocket all day long. Like, let's bully him. And then Hase is like, I told you! The kid's weird.
You know something too? This series is going to have a lot of sacrifices in the end. Whether that means they sacrifice and die or not sacrifice and die. Just sacrifices. These characters are so close to each other that it's going to be like a chain of sacrifices. You got police officer, Zuma, and then everybody from this crew right here. Oh, God. Turbo Granny, where you at, man? Where you at, Baba? Oh, man.
That would be a really cool way to introduce Turbo Granny if she could see Momo. And then all of the time, your feelings don't lie because you can see her. And everyone else can't see Momo but Turbo Granny and Okarune. That could be a way that Okarune and Turbo Granny reconnect. Is that, oh, Momo? And then Okarune turns around with Momo in his breast pocket. Turbo Granny?
What could she possibly be doing? Like, obviously, I think it has, relation to Hyper Geezer, Count Saint Germain, but like, what is she doing?
Do you think she's trying to become a human?
Maybe.
So that would entail what? Collecting spiritual objects? So kind of similar to what Sanjome's doing, in a way.
Honestly, yeah. And it would be cool to see the opposite reaction of him reacting to her.
Ooh.
Man.
A Turbo Baba instead of Hyper Geezer. Turbo Baba.
I just don't know. Like, I just keep getting stuck. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I really did not like the way that Vamola was looking forward on that last page. Now, you can feel the angst starting to build up in Momo at this point. Normally, she's a very cheerful girl. Do you think there is anything sinister at play on top of the curse? Or do you think that this is simply the curse finally starting to progress to a point to where Momo is being unseen by her friends? Do you think there's like a fairy tale card influence on Vamola? Do you feel like there's another yokai? How does Reiko come into the situation? Because she had a very personalized connection with Momo. Is she going to forget her? Do curses work on yokai?
Honestly, I really don't know. I don't know. I just assume it has to deal with like the people who are not as close to her, and it's just going to keep going down until the people who are really close to her. But I don't know.
I mean, that also begs the question. I would say she has the weakest connection to Kinta. Did Kinta already forget about Momo?
That'd be interesting if Tatsu does that in a very implicit way, where like we wouldn't know, but we pay attention to something like his face or expression, like a question mark or something. When they're talking about her, it's just like,
Is this another dirty joke? You keep talking about your Momo. Are you talking about something?
Talk about intuitive. Kenta is arguably the most on point character in this crew. Like, he is not. I don't know. He's. I almost want to say he's a bit delusional. How like headstrong he is and confident.
He reminds me of Arthur from Fire Force.
Exactly. They both imagining stuff. So he's.
It also makes me think, how many other people have gone through a similar curse? Because you know the mythos of the old man running around. Is this going to be maybe Okarun's parents had this curse onto them, and they're just small. They're still in Okarun's life. They're moving.
Aww.
They're moving in the back. So kind of similar to what you said. You said that they erased his memories. No, they're always there for him. They're just, on the bookcase.
He ate his parents. Like Aaron knows.
Oh no. Oh no. Hey, if you can get me another Grisha scream, I will accept that. Only on that condition. That is the one thing I am not willing to budge on.
Nah, Sherm, you were spitting with that though. The GG thing, confessing, and then.
Oh, it makes me think. Who is gonna save Momo, or is she going to be forgotten? And then from the forgotten void, that is going to be the retrieval arc, is getting her back in the memories of everyone else. Oh, okay. Let me ask you this question, because I might be conflating the two. If Momo can't be seen by Vamola, does that mean that Vamola can't remember Momo? Or does that mean she just can't interact with her? It's as if she died.
Based off of the text, it seemed like it was just can't see, but it made it seem like it was like a real serious situation where, like, because she couldn't hear her either, so it probably is a memory thing too.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't see or hear. So yeah, I think it's what you're thinking is exactly what's going on right now.
So memory implications per se.
I can't wait for another Sanjome and Momo interaction, because she is like an outlier character right now between the gang and her. Like, she was the only one that wasn't as affected by him, and now she's going through this thing where she might end up being like voided essentially. So I don't know
what do you make of the fact, any connection whatsoever, that Momo's power is still normal sized? Is it her id cosmos is so strong that it is her soul doing that on whatever scale her soul is before pre-curse? Or I don't know. What do you make of that?
Okay, that's something else I didn't think about. Is she getting smaller?
I don't think so. I think the progressing of the curse is people are starting to not be able to see her / hear her / recognize her existence. I think that was a question we had, but I think based on what the developments were in this chapter, it's that she is being forgotten, not that she's getting smaller.
I thought it was going to be both, but okay. Forgotten. I mean, you know what? I mean, you think there's correlation with her and the pygmies in? Because isn't that kind of like what they did? Like, they used to didn't be that size.
They were human. Well, they were smaller human size, and then they became what they are now.
Exactly. So I guess the same thing's happening to her, which would make her like a spiritual
semi-yokai
creature. Yeah, kind of like them. So remember, we weren't really sure if they were like yokai or not, or they were just like spirits.
Yeah, the implication is that they were forgotten by history, but I don't know if that implies they physically died or if they were just forgotten by history. Because both are a form of death.
Right. God.
And I am almost positive when we were first introduced to this concept of fairies in the arc, we did actually see an old man in the library. That was not a pygmy. I don't think. I think it was an actual, like, small man.
Yeah, we thought it was a gnome, I think.
Yeah, but they do have those little hats for the pygmies, so I don't know. That's just my headcanon at the moment. I could absolutely be wrong, but
what if she did get forgotten by everybody?
Like literally everyone, not everybody. Like a single person?
Yep.
Oh,
and she has to find a way to get the memories or, come back. That'd be wild.
Oh, I just had an idea. Hold on. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Well, just short, I was just going to say that would make things even worse. Like, this whole conversation we've been having for like the past 40 minutes about how we don't know anything, like, that would make things even worse. They'll be even more confused if they don't remember her. What are we doing here? Like, no.
So my connection was actually so much more positive. In that, obviously, with Avengers Endgame, we had to lose before we could have the comeback. And
Yep.
the very peculiar way that Thanos lost, if you boil it down to something, Ant-Man was in the quantum zone when the snap happened. So he was not subject to the normal reality rules. He was subject to subatomic reality rules of physics. So, long story short, connecting this back to this series, what if the only way that you can interact or find or obtain the Dandadan is by completely voiding yourself, or, for lack of a better term, cutting all ties with humanity? Enlightenment, with the Buddhist symbolism. So Momo could come back theoretically with the Dandadan, and that could be what saves us all. It would be like killing your main character and then bringing them back. I would like that so much, but I feel like that would be really controversial if you killed off the female MC. I mean, you would bring her back eventually, but you know, the amount of flack he would get in the meantime would be...
Well, what if she just stayed like that? Like, just not necessarily, like, she'd just stay like a spirit or a guardian of the Dandadan. So kind of like, more related to something. There's something that reminds me of. What is it? It reminds me of
Avatar. Yuki, the moon. You are the moon. Yeah. Yue. I said Yuki.
yeah, pretty much like that. That's kind of sad too. I think that's a unique way to kill off a character, where it's like they're dead. And that's
hey, would you look at that? It's the full moon that we're doing this under. I wonder if he's an Avatar fan. We know he's a One Piece fan.
And then the yin yang thing, we just met those guys.
Yin and yang.
Oh, that would be so sad though. God damn.
I mean, that would put to bed who's the MC, because if you kill her off, that means Okarun has to be the MC. He has to be the Deku with no powers.
I think... And it depends where you do this. I don't think you do this... If that was the case with Momo, don't do it until the end game.
But do you think that you could do that in the end game, and do you think you could like reverse what's happening now, or do you think that in the meantime we just stop her being forgotten by her friends? Like, how do you go from point A to point Z?
I see what you mean, because then they all have to happen around the same time. Because right now, this is happening right now.
It's tricky.
I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of tricky, because then it'll feel weird if we like.
That's what I was saying about theoretically you could kill her off, have Turbo Granny and Okarun be like what ends up being the maybe, let's just say Turbo Granny is truly the last one to remember Momo, because she's a yokai, curses don't work on yokai, and then that's our Ant-Man. So Turbo Granny could theoretically be like, why aren't you guys noticing Momo? Turbo Granny, you do care.
You know she would try her hardest to, that's Seiko's granddaughter. So she's
it's important to Seiko. Seiko's like, I don't have a granddaughter.
Oh no.
Again, which makes me like think back to all the missing parents that we have in this series. Like Momo's parents, Okarun's parents. Is this a curse that is widespread? Do we have a society of little people living out of sight, out of mind? And this could be what the Dandadan is truly. It's the forgotten people. It bacteria, out of sight, out of mind.
Do they return to form?
Wouldn't they technically operate like bacteria? Like, so small you can't see. Yep. They are potentially doing things to influence much larger entities. And then it would also go to the motif of alien and devil on either shoulder. That could be the two parents.
I feel that kind of goes into what Sanjome was talking about this chapter and about the bacteria thing and behavioral changes. You can kind of link that to this chapter with the whole id Cosmos thing too. So you're saying like if they do essentially become like bacteria or operate like that, they can still, like with Momo with her power, she can still have a such an effect on, I don't know, like a cursed object or
she can cross dimensions with her power.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's really tough to see where Tatsu is going because he can go in so many different paths. It's kind of wild.
And again, if I'm way off base here, that's fine. This I could see it going in this direction. That would be absolutely crazy. But I'm not going to hold him to it if he chooses to do something else. If we save Momo next volume, so be it. Great. Wonderful.
Exactly.
Because what I was then thinking about, like, what if you can't reverse the curse? What if you can only stop it? And then we have to, like, have a breaking point to where maybe Vamola can never see Momo again. But Gigi can, because he's in love with her. Okurun can, because he's in love with her.
Here's another thing, too. What difference, I mean, obviously we know the differences, but what is the difference between her, the kid that's now the older man, and Zuma, like, becoming more blind, I guess, or losing his vision? How do you think their situations are going to, end up as well?
I honestly think Daiki could die. I would hate it, but again, we talked about the yokai reincarnation cycle. There's a lot of meat on the bone for his parents. That could be a former adversary. That could be the one member of the group that dies and turns into a yokai. Right. And then you want to talk about Zuma. Zuma, unironically, I feel like he forged a very intimate bond with Momo inside of the Danmanra arc. So he could see her, but he could not see anything else. Maybe she could be his eyes. Maybe she has to stick with Zuma because he's one of the only people that remembers her.
Okay, I just thought of something crazy, and spit. This is whatever. But anyway, what if? So we always talk about Count Saint Germain. Like, what if he is doing all this stuff for the good? For the best of everybody. What if he's trying to like transfer people into like a new world? So when you just said about Zuma not being able to see anybody else, he can still see her. Mm-hmm. What if that's like a way of like transferring them into like a new world? Because they're not interacting with people like how they normally would. Like Zuma obviously won't be able to see anybody. Momo, her entire existence would be gone to everybody else. And since they both have a connection, they both are in the game, what if they can obviously interact with each other because of that? And maybe Count Saint Germain is trying to, I don't know, make it like a widespread thing where he gets everybody into that, or whether it's not his own doing, but this is just something else.
Isn't that kind of like the pairing up on Noah's Ark that we saw in the symbolism of the One Piece mural? In terms of having a partner to do something that you yourself cannot do. That would be breeding, and not in the traditional sense, that'd be breeding a lot of cooperativeness between people, because you would have to rely on somebody else for your own existence. That's very altruistic in a way. It's dark, it seems a bit forced, but you can also have an irreplaceable bond with someone.
And that happened because they were in that game. Got out of there. He has a fairy tale card. Maybe he is trying to do something like a widespread thing where he transfers everybody, take the bikini bottom, like Patrick said,
and move it somewhere else.
Literally that, because of something, I don't know.
Oh no.
Like the Earth is going to die, or I don't know, something.
What if again he's the Silver Surfer? What if he needs to
Is that
move
Harold?
humanity into the box because the planet is going to be destroyed? The subterraneans are going to take
Noah's
over.
Ark.
Noah's Ark. It's a way to save everyone.
Yeah. I guess we gotta pay some closer attention to Zuma, Momo, the old man, even though we think he's gonna die, but especially Zuma and Momo for sure.
Yes.
And how they interact, and if he is able to see her, then I think we're definitely probably on the mark with that. Maybe the Void was another experimentation that just went horribly, where it's like, oh no, you're gone. Like you try to move people to this new space, no, you're gone. So now he's trying to do something different, so that doesn't happen.
Like the shadow dimension from Invincible. Yeah. I don't like staying in there too long. There's some creepy stuff in there.
Exactly.
All right, Nightwing. Night boy.
Maybe Count Saint Germain is trying to save people from that. Save people from going to the void, and instead create a different place where people can go into that they can.
So heaven on earth type of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
I was also thinking kind of along a similar vein of the Galactus is coming. This could also be because we know Sanjome is super old. Ergo, like what Turbo Granny knows about him, the nickname she had for him, his seemingly immortal person. What if this is a pollution problem? Humanity is poisoning the earth, so I need to move them somewhere to where they cannot poison. And then we go even further with that. We talk about the Danmanra arc, to where Seiko said or confirmed, if you eat from another world, there will be consequences, or you cannot leave that world, truly. Mm-hmm. So, what world are we talking about? Are we talking about a utopia? Are we talking about a world that we have created? The Dandadan panel, it was weird. We had
Is that like his Vinland?
Is his Vinland. This is my Vinland saga. No, but like I could see him trying to create a utopia for humanity, because he even said this chapter, again, if we assume that's him talking to Adachi, that humanity's heart is difficult to understand. And maybe this is the perfect sandbox for him to conduct that experiment. Like, it might benefit us, it might hurt us, but either way, it's a controlled environment that he gets to perform his experiment in.
And then maybe Turbo Granny, she has the wrong idea. That's why she reacted the way that she, or whatever animosity she has towards him. Or he could still be wrong, or it could be like the AOT situation, where it's like, what can we do? We have these different solutions. We only have a few different solutions. Do we just sit here and die, or do we fight back, or do we do the euthanasia plan? Like, what do we do? So,
do you think maybe he did a test run with her village, similar to what Aaron was thinking with the rumbling?
Oh, so instead of, she probably took it as like, oh, you killed everybody, but
no, I put them in a bubble.
Yeah. Huh. Do you think so? Going back to Vamola's arc, right? Remember we kept talking about how like all the people there were old.
Where are the young people?
And we're like, where are the other people? Did they get sent off world, or like, do you think that might apply to them as well? And that is his people. He was
leading the Kurd.
Exactly.
So he could have already enacted this on the youth of Sumeria. Oh, hold on. Do you remember what Banga was saying about the men of that world? Did she say something like they were ideological, or they were too
something like that, philosophical or something?
They were kind of like too stuck in their heads. Yeah. So maybe they thought from a moral standard, like, hey, let's give this youth generation a fresh start. This is a blood-soaked world. Let's not bloody their hands.
Right. The irony there, though, right? Like the curve, we look at them as like, you guys are just some predators, just out here, just conquering, killing, pillaging. But like in actuality, it's that would be pretty wild. They're like,
but imagine what that then does for Jet, because technically speaking, her husband could be alive. He could just be in another bubble. And
the human karmic ball thing, right? Turbo Granny's disgusted by it. We don't know why. We just assume, oh, well, you put people in the ball, or you kill them, or you turn them, whatever. But like,
does she seem morally like the type of person that would be upset at others suffering? Because I know that sounds a little bit disrespectful, but I want you to think about like how she's treated Ken and Momo. Like, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows, you know?
I mean, she's a yokai, so it is more negative energy, I guess. That's kind of... I always talk about Umbrella Boy, for example. You know, he was a very kind boy, but he got a little potty mouth sometimes when he's transformed. But I think it's funny. I think she did get the... Like, doesn't she get off the vibe right now that she could potentially, like...
be the savior?
No, I was going to say that she's just getting the wrong idea from Sanjome and everything that he's done.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Things.
Yeah.
And when she saw him, she had animosity, and we don't know why she reacted the way both times for the human karmic ball and when she first saw him. So it looked like it could be something that's like a misdirect to us, too, the audience, where it's like she's just getting the wrong impression. It does look horrible, but in actuality, it probably is doing something to save everybody. It could be, and I said this a while back, it could be like I know space is pretty, fucking infinite, but like, it could be a population thing too.
You took the words out of my mouth. Do you remember that theory I was telling you about in terms of data storage?
Yeah.
So space itself, like a cube of space, can be used to store data. And it's almost in like an infinite amount of data. So if you convert people to binary, kind of similar to how the cursed trunk works, you convert something from one thing into another form. Like if Sanjome is looking to just population control this ever-growing, because that population growth is a problem that will never be solved. So unless
Thanos.
Wow, yeah, you guys have seen Avengers. You guys have seen Avengers. There is a limited amount of resources in an infinite universe, and only so much can be consumed, and there's going to be the haves and have-nots.
I think it might, and also too, in the game, like the food and the the chef and the frogs, I kept saying like it doesn't seem that antagonistic, like I get it, that's to like lure these children in there and get them kind of, but I don't know, something about it just didn't have that much malicious intent. So maybe Sanjome, I don't know, like if he had anything to do with that in the game specifically, but or if somebody else did that is kind of on the same page with Sanjome or something, I don't know, but he might be cooking. He might be cooking.
Which is crazy to think about, because I love this teeter-totter we're doing for Sanjome's character. On one hand, he could be the most vile villain of all time.
Yep.
You are stealing people's souls. That's essentially what you're doing. By taking their memory, you are taking who a person is, essentially. Or he could be the most altruistic person in the universe. He could be trying to solve an unsolvable problem.
Go either way. Like, literally, Tatsu was setting him up very well. Very well.
I can't wait until Thursday. Hopefully we can still do that stream with Laz. I really want to get a third person's perspective on this. Sometimes, guys, I will be the first to admit it. Vontae and I can get into somewhat of an echo chamber, or we can just go off the walls with some of these theories, and which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but I want to have someone else's perspective in terms of like poking holes in some of these thoughts, or just see if he's picking up on some of the things that we're picking up on. Because, like you said, Tatsu can go either way. Imagine he goes like both ways, because Sanjome himself is what I would consider almost like a unreliable narrator. Yeah. He doesn't even have the memories that he needs to have, and his whole thing revolves around memories, taking them, reading minds. So on one hand, it's like, what's the phrase? The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. He could literally be a representation of the yin and yang, to where it's two sides of the same coin in one person.
Like Eren. The whole thing with Eren's character was about what was his nature and what was something he was trying to do to help his friends. And that was the conflict with him. He kept saying either way he was going to do what he was going to do. It wasn't like, and he knew that. He said he basically implied he could have done things differently, but he said, I asked for this. I wanted this. So maybe Sanjome is kind of like that too, where it's like, it's instinctually in his nature to go about things the way that he is going down. It could look bad or good depending on the person. Like with Turbo Granny, that's why I can't wait to see her perspective on it. Like, what does she think? You know, like how, especially from someone like her, like you said a few minutes ago, for her, you know, she's not like the nicest person by far, not even close. You know, she's kind of far on the end of the spectrum compared to everybody else. But like, what would she think? Like, did she have like a different ideology? I'm assuming she did. Did she have like another answer as to whatever he's trying to do? Whether it's good or bad, like what is it that he's trying to do, and what is it that she does not like from what he's doing? Like, is it? Man,
I'll even take that a step further. You could have Sanjome the person wanting to do one thing, and Sanjome the collection of bacteria wanting to do another thing. And whose hand is on the steering wheel? Who is truly making these decisions? Is there any sort of, let's just call it a personage or identity of Sanjome that is fighting back against the will or the ideology of the bacteria? Because he mentioned something really, I want to say controversial. It depends on the context in which you say it. He said something about the ideal self. And the ideal self in philosophy, psychology, it can have very different connotations depending on what you're willing to do or what you think the ideal self is. Because on one hand, you can think the ideal self needs to be pursued to the end, and that means F everyone else, and you are looking for your most ideal self. On the other hand, the most ideal self could be isolation. It could be removing yourself from the world, and it depends on perspective. Are you an optimist? Are you a pessimist? How do you view the world around you? Humans are social creatures. One of my favorite phrases from, I think it was Plato. You would go insane if you were in solitary confinement for the rest of your life. Have you seen I Am Legend with Will Smith? He literally goes crazy in the first 10 minutes of that movie because he thinks he's alone. He doesn't have any other human to interact with. And I don't know, there's some very intriguing philosophical debates that this series could invoke, and I didn't think we'd ever get that going into it. Oh, it's about this random kid and his golden testicles that were removed by this talking cat. Haha, that's funny. No, there's multiple layers to this.
I think you're spitting with the triangle thing, three sides thing, the id, ego, superego thing. Because what you just said a second ago about like a conflicting thing with Sanjome, where is it like the bacteria that's trying to do one thing and then his true self or whatever, or original self that's also trying to do something. And then what he said in this chapter too, the whole and like the id part, id cosmos part. And going back to what he's talking about with Ken, and every time he speaks, it's almost like he's obviously like he's forgetting something, or he's like slipping. He's glitching out. Pretty much glitching. He's glitching. But maybe that's what it is with him. Maybe there's three sides to him. You know, maybe it is like the bacteria that's trying to take over, and then the sexual self, and then maybe it's like a spiritual self with him that's trying to also. I don't know. There might be. There's definitely two.
Well, yeah, because even Count Saint Germain, I consider that's a separate entity than Sanjome, and Sanjome, Count Saint Germain, and this evil shadowy visage of the two could be the third part of the triangle.
It reminds me of funny enough, it reminds me of the Sentry in the Void in Marvel. Literally in the Thunderbolts movie that's about to come out, where it's like two different sides. Oh, the Void, no pun intended, actually pun intended. And then the Sentry. So maybe it's something like that. Tatsu, I know what you are, man. Blackbeard theories, you know what you are. You know what you are, man. Come on.
Oh, let me guess. You have the Kraken devil fruit. I mean, the Kraken bacteria. You know, there's actually different strands of bacteria, right? So it's like,
hey,
watch him have the Kraken bacteria strain. I would be deceased.
What are you cooking, Tatsu? This shit is so cool. And like I said earlier, like I really like that the characters don't like it. It is kind of frustrating because I'm anxious. We're both really anxious. All the readers are very anxious, but it is kind of cool seeing how much they don't know in this story that has so much and we don't know either. So when we learn with them, it's going to be the biggest revelations you've seen in manga, and I can't wait for that.
I can't wait to see how far Tatsu can push this before I'll be like, okay, he's lost me, because he has built up so much positivity in terms of my mentality towards him as a mangaka. Like, I would say affectionately, a lot of people say, trust in Tozuka. That was a common meme with the Undead Unluck fandom. And for the most part, disregarding a little bit of the end portion, I would be like, yeah, I trust him. Like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to surprise me with, take your time with, whatever you want to speed up, I trust in you. Tatsu's doing something different.
I genuinely just cook. Let me see what you're making.
Oh, you want to do Lord of the Flies this week? You got it.
Just cook. I'm just waiting for that chapter that's gonna make us want to do that video. You must read this manga, the new One Piece, the whatever.
I feel like it's coming. That chapter. I agree with you. I have that feeling. It's coming very soon.
Once it drops,
I would say by 250. We're gonna start workshopping. I would say by 250, I would probably expect to have one of those chapters. That'd be like, okay, this is the staple chapter of the series. You need to read this series.
There's always chapters that are like that, and I love that about manga. So like One Piece 1138, it's like, okay, yes, you just have to make a video on that. Yeah, there's some other series that I felt like that for too in the past. I'm like, oh man, got to, somebody has to. So Dandadan is we're gearing up for it, definitely. Cause like the thing that Tatsu was doing really well is that, which is something that a lot of other series don't do good enough. He's really building a foundation with like the power system, the world itself, to the point where you're not going to be surprised when you see some shit later on. Like, what is this, Tatsu? Did you just pull this out your ass? What is this? That's not going to happen. Everything that we are learning right now will forever continue to be what we'll see by the end of the series. Yes, there might be some things that are even like more amplified, but we're going to get the gist of it. We learned about spirals, we learned about
that has not been revisited.
Like all these things
has not been revisited.
Exactly. So there's not gonna be anything that's gonna be introduced out of nowhere. We're like at the end of the story, like, what the fuck is this? I don't think that's even gonna happen at all. Nope.
I mean, he's really set himself up for success, because when you have the alien mythos and you have the yokai mythos, you have two pools to pull from. And again, I just want to remind everyone, this is also partially for myself, that we really have not gotten a lot of alien stuff recently. It's been, Sanjome has been the point person, but since the Space Globalist arc, it's been almost exclusively yokai. We have Rin, we have Reiko, we have all this that's going on with the yokai spirits of the Dullahan, of the Jiangshi, of the fairy tale card, Wazuma, Brella Boy. It's all been yokai. But you also have in the back of your mind thinking, like, the Dandadan has to be related to aliens, but it also has to be related to yokai. It has to be some sort of connection between the two different pools.
Oh, wow. What? Nah.
Just say it. I want to hear it.
I was gonna say, what if like the Dandadan is like the promise, but I don't know.
The Dandadan is the promise.
Because I just think about all these different deities and stuff. Like, why would all these deities be all in the same, I don't know, coalition or same? Like, why is it all the same in this series?
Like, why are there location-bound spirits, or
no?
Why is there different religions or gods of the land?
The religions, yeah, it seems like they're all in unison. Why? What is that? Is that like a promise? Like, maybe I'm just thinking about it from a real-world perspective, and I'm just thinking about real-world logic to like this series because we don't know what Tatsu's going to do. But why is he even doing that? Why is he making all of it one and the same? You know, so. Like, that's why I said promise. Like, is there a promise thing? Is it like all these deities agreed on something, or I don't know.
I mean, that could be the, you know, the visual representation of the Dandadan that we saw, was all of the deities coming to an agreement on something.
Yeah.
What an interesting conversation tonight has turned into.
Yeah, I'm back to like not knowing nothing, man. The only things that I think is going on is obviously the Momo thing of her, like, people just not remembering her. I think that's the one that's on the mark. Everything else, well, at least on my end, I don't know.
I just, like, who's going to be the adversary for them? Because obviously there has to be some sort of conflict. It can't just be, you know, a sprint to the location, dip Momo in the special spirit bath, and then she's now big again.
Right. Something's gonna pop off. Seiko, she's still injured. Her ribs hurt. They just told her
broken.
Take some painkillers. Yeah, Gigi, she's not protecting nobody. She ain't protecting nobody. And like her, I can't wait to learn her backstory. Like, honestly, as much as obviously we want to know because it's so integral to the plot of Turbo Granny and Count Saint Germain, I think Seiko's my most anticipated because it's we really don't know her role in the world, but I've always found it interesting when characters like her, who are relatively grounded characters, have such a big story behind them. It's kind of like, I think I said this last time, like Grisha in AOT, where he's mostly like he's like a pilot of the narrative, but he's not really the
active participant.
Yeah. Like, he's just there. Like, the plane is flying. He's flying the plane, but he's not at the same time. He's on autopilot, essentially. It's like,
I like that.
And I think that's how Seiko is. She kind of
reminds me of Jiraiya the author, not Jiraiya the seinen, because I would argue in Naruto, I know it's a bit off topic, but I'll try to connect it back. Jiraiya, the author, I would argue, had a larger impact on the world than one of the seinen, as a member of the seinen. Because
really
without those novels, like, you wouldn't have Kakashi, you wouldn't have Naruto, you wouldn't have Pain, you wouldn't have the whole generational inheritance of will. You wouldn't have the concept of essentially a world in which I don't know, what would you say was like the end result of the war? Is like forgiveness, like the breaking of the cycle? I mean, you could have a couple of different takeaways, but what's like the one, like the breaking of the cycle, I'll just say, is probably
Great Ninja War?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say, asking me, I might give you an answer that's not even like, it's kind of be a joke, because honestly, we just defeated aliens.
Okay.
But okay.
So there's the connection to Dandadan. Oh, are you muted? Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, you got an echo now.
How about now?
Good. Question mark?
I don't know why I did that.
Okay.
Oh, switch.
Nope. Bye-bye.
I know this one probably sounds a little different.
It's a little different, but I can still hear you.
All right, I don't know. I guess that needs to be charged. Anyway, so the cycle of hatred still existed. Naruto kind of didn't find an answer to it because you can't. That's people's natures. It's just in their nature to keep fighting. The cycle is going to keep on continuing. However, you can do your best to try to achieve peace temporarily. So I don't know. I guess that's my takeaway. It's
Okay.
just like you said, forgiveness. Yeah, that's kind of it.
I am not just trying to put a cube into a circular hole when I say this, but this could be related to what Sanjome is trying to do in terms of he's trying to solve the equation that is the human heart. Like he said, it's something that cannot easily be understood,
Right.
and the id cosmos is something that causes someone to literally fight the machine that is the world. It is fighting against your existence with
But you know what,
your individuality.
Let me ask you this, because with these type of characters, there's always something about them where it's like, okay, but that's flawed, or you're wrong about this. What do you think Sanjome, if you know that's what he's going for, what part of it do you think is flawed?
I think it's love. As
love
corny
part.
and as cliche as it sounds, I feel like Momo and Gigi, Momo and Okarun, Seiko and Momo, there's going to be some form of love that he'll be like, Bakana, doesn't make sense. Error 404 does not compute. Because as someone who is immortal or damn near immortal, I don't feel like he has a partner. I don't think he can connect with someone spiritually, physically, emotionally. So the three sides of the triangle. I don't see there being a mate for Sanjome.
You know something? In a lot of series, the character usually wouldn't explain why. Like, I mean, they do, but like for him, like you said, if he's practically immortal, he should give a very great reason as to why he doesn't believe in what they believe in. To the point, it's kind of like Naruto, right? When Nagato, when he was trying to challenge his line of thinking, and
Yeah.
Naruto, he like couldn't answer him. He was like, "Oh shit!" In the pain speech, he was like,
That was pretty
"You
good.
kind of spitting." We
That was
need
pretty
that.
good.
Where they're like, "Whoa, shit!" I mean, but he will still be wrong because I think they could, like, you could still love if you're immortal, even though it's hard, because I mean, if people die, then what? But maybe love is a lot more than just a person-to-person situation. Maybe it could just be love for the world, for existence, for life. And I don't think that's touched on too much in series. It's always about the romance aspect between a character and another character.
There's different types of love.
Yeah, but like, what about the love for just your existence? You don't really get that too often.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah. This series is pretty deep, just because of the simple fact that we can theorize so much off of nothing. Damn near nothing. We don't know nothing.
Some critics might say, well, you need to guide the reader in some form, but I feel like there's also something in terms of reading between the lines. You can pick up on some of these things and make these comparisons to other series, because we've seen it before. We've seen the Nagato. We've seen the Bleach. We've seen the One Piece. There's these human stories that we interact with and consume on an almost daily basis.
Yep.
And it's so consumable because it's so relatable. You can see real life in these fictional stories. And that might sound a little bit flowery. I might sound like Take from Haikyuu, but genuinely, this is the reason why we enjoy this hobby so much, is because we just get to talk about life. And when a mangaka can truly evoke those emotions out of someone, they have accomplished what they hopefully were setting out to do.
And it's about getting to the human condition. Like, that's just something that we always got to face every day in our lives. So and what I like about it, it's a character-driven story. The plot doesn't drive it, which is kind of weird because, right, we've been talking about how the characters in the story don't even know what's going on in terms of the plot.
Yet they're leading the plot.
They have their lives. It's almost like we're spectating this story versus reading it, if that makes sense. We're spectating the characters' lives more than we're reading it. I don't even know if that makes sense, but
well, I had a pretty prolonged little monologue about Adachi and what she was doing for her mother. So Sanjome, much to his, I guess, disdain, was like, "You're not cut out for it, Adachi." And I was like, hold on a minute. She cares enough about her mother that she's willing to do this in the first place. If you tell her that there is a chance you could save her mom, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. You are severely underestimating the power of love that she has for her mom. The primal, I must protect the one who protected me type of emotion or feeling that humans have. Like you mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the human condition. Do not for a second underestimate the lengths at which she is willing to go to save her mom. I was almost upset when I heard that, but I was like, okay, that's in line with Sanjome's character. He doesn't get what it means to be human at this point.
Okay, this is in a whole different ballpark, but that's why the series is really good. What if Sanjome used to be heavily religious, but something happened where he just lost all that faith, and maybe even Turbo Granny, same thing, probably with her too. We did talk about how, what if she was like a medium before, when she was human or whatever she was before turning to a yokai. That's why she has that connection with Dodoria, and then Dodoria's connection with them in general. What if he was like religious, like very religious, and then that just changed when you learn the truth of the universe to the extent where like he finds out whatever he's trying to do right now, trying to fix some kind of problem, and then the whole promise thing, like what if it was based off of the gods? What if they did something that in the long run might not protect or something? This is a whole different line of thinking for Sanjome, but it can go a lot of different ways.
Could religion be the promise?
So like you created like a cult, or people are creating and worshiping.
I think the worshiping is the true aspect of the promise, in terms of humans agree to do something. The worshiping of a god is what they agree to do. That is the purpose of your consciousness, let's just say. So when you obtain sentience, let's just say, if we get sort of biblical about it, in terms of when humanity was crafted in the image of gods, they could be a fledgling species that was created by aliens that was told, we will let you have sentience if you agree to worship God.
What was kind of like a commentary off of I don't know if I can say this, starts with an S. His name used to be starting with an L, but that cult, the Tannic cult, what if it's something like that? Like, it's not saying that they are worshiping the devil, but like them worshiping these gods is like that. In this series, that's like a play on that, because it's like, why are you worship? You know, like in real life, when people were like, why would you even worship the devil?
Like paganism.
It's like, what are you? Why would you even do that? Is
the
it kind of
religion
like
around firm round butts? Yes, that is a religion.
Like, does the alien coalition or whatever, do they feel like, why the hell are you guys doing that? Why are you worshiping this? What are you doing? And are you doing this for power, for wishes and manifestation? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to just use science, okay? Science, not this bullshit that you guys got going on. What are y'all doing?
Oh, so why religion was an unintended consequence of giving us sentience? They were supposed to be like, hey, you were supposed to attend science class, not theology. Because I don't know about that theory. Well, I was gonna say no, that doesn't track because of Sumeria. They were praying, but then I was thinking about the fact, no, that could be a sister species of humans that went off planet, and they took their religious, customs with them.
Gods of the lands. Yeah, I don't know, man. This story has so many elements to it. Gods of the lands. Like, what?
And then what they were talking about on Vomola's planet, in terms of that kaiju was a god. It was a god to the people. They prayed to that god, and then
so do you think there's gods across the universe? Like,
I mean,
not just
if you want to talk about humanity, like you were saying earlier, we make anything gods. We make the god of cotton candy. We make I don't know, that's probably like oversimplifying it, but I think I think you understand what I mean. Yeah, exactly. On Elbath, the god of long ears.
God.
No, that's just an oversized bunny, but whatever. There could be gods across the universe.
Shit, Ludrus, he's one of them, man. Hey, man.
Hey, Ludrus is that godly figure.
I am him.
You know the Ludrus?
Wait, what?
You know the Ludrus?
The Ludrus? Yeah. I don't know. I really think that this is one of the series where everybody is right and everybody is wrong.
It's like gray, the series.
Yes.
Which, ironic given the grays, but
I don't know, man. I'm here for the ride. I'm just waiting for a chapter to get me like, okay, here we go. See, Juiz, she gave us some answers way earlier, you know? It was okay, Juiz, we understand you a few different times. It was okay, yeah, there we go. We're still, in the dark with certain stuff. I'm like, okay, we got something to build off of. This series, we're theorizing off of our own theories. Like, not even, because we don't, it's
theory squared, theory cubed.
We are children. Like, we don't know nothing.
Children of the forest, man.
Yep. Oh boy, but I mean, I think that's pretty much all I got though. My brain hurts.
I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching this stream back because I'm just curious what other sort of crazy theories. What other sort of crazy theories or thoughts I'll have by listening to our crazy theories and thoughts tonight. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right, you guys know, man. First things first, Haikyuu. Basically every day for the next 3 weeks. I mean, next month is every day. Season 2, season 3, every day. We will be here releasing those videos. We'll be here every Mondays for Dandadan as well, and we might be here this Thursday with Commodore Laz, another YouTuber who covers Dandadan, One Piece, various other series. We might have a stream with him talking about Dandadan, talking about a lot of stuff that we have been talking about in this stream and other streams. So that should be fun. So we'll let you guys know about that and update you guys. But yeah, what are some other things you want to plug before we head out?
I have been rewatching season 1 of Chainsaw Man in the upcoming anticipation that I have, and hopefully you guys do too, for our manga read-through series that we will be starting up probably after we get done with this Haikyuu blitz. So I'm thinking about 3 weeks, maybe 4 if we have to push it back a bit. But within the next 28 days, there will be a Chainsaw Man volume reaction to post season 1 and on. And it'll probably be about once a week. So we're thinking 1 volume every Saturday around 2 p.m. Eastern. That will be the plan moving forward until we catch up on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with that series. And then the Discord. So guys, we talk about so many series. This one, I really want to build up more of a community in terms of the Discord. We're talking about it because I love that you guys are still with us here 2 hours in, but I also want to talk more about this series off stream. So let me go ahead and pull that up once more. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of plugs that I have on my end.
This year, lots and lots of content. Manga, anime, live action, whole bunch of different things. So stay tuned. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel with your boys, man. Road to 1K. We're going to get there very, very, very soon. And much more stuff. Summertime, obviously, Dandadan anime is coming back with season 2 in July. Got Squid Game in July. Got Yakuza debuts in July. And once again, we got Chainsaw Man manga. We got Berserk coming up too towards the end of the year, around the fall or late summer, early fallish time. And yeah, a lot of stuff even going to 2026. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to on this channel, man. We're doing our damn thing, but that's pretty much all I got though.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, whether live or in the VOD. Hopefully, we will see you this upcoming Thursday with Commodore Laz. We having it here or there? I don't think that's been decided yet. Probably here. Here?
Probably here.
Probably here. But with that being said, thank you guys so much. As Vontae likes to say, stay safe, stay healthy, stay clean. We'll see you in the next video or stream. And peace.